I wanted to show you how I'm doing things like this.
Monster kill.
And so much more. So if you like that sort of stuff, stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to show you all the software side of things that's making that happen. I recently switched over to D'Addaro's Expand range of boards. If you haven't seen that pedalboard range before, it's this series here. It's really, really cool because you can literally expand and make it bigger, make it smaller. And for me, I'm actually on a little bit of a quest to make my pedalboard smaller. I know that's like, what? Smaller? But I've actually removed a lot of the audio pedals from the pedal board. So things like the Neural DSP Quad Cortex, Bogner Harlow's Precision Drive, different overdrive pedals, all that stuff's been stripped off now. All right, so let me give you an overview and the flow of this board so you know what buttons do what and how that kind of all comes together. The first thing is that you're gonna notice is I have two Blackstar Live Logics on the floor. And the reason for having two is the first one really chooses amps. So for example, if I hit button 1 here, that is using the Corey Wong plugin. But let's say I want a little bit more of a gritty clean. I hit number 2. And that's Neural DSP's Tone King. Similar thing for the gain sound. So for example, hit number 3. Boom, heavy gain, rhythm, lead. It's kind of balanced to do both. But that's using the Nameless plugin. And then as I hit number 4, that's using the new Rabea plugin. But it doesn't stop there. This is where it gets really fun. So if I bank up 1 and I go to number 4, which is the Rabea plugin, well, suddenly we have feedback. So it's not just 1 through 4, I have different states of these amps as well. And remember, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you more about the software side of things so you see how all this is done. But it's really cool because then if I wanted a completely dry clean, you know, we can go right to that. I just have one signal path for the guitar and the other is the Boss SY200. So for front end effects, I have a Boss OC5. Great octaver. And then I have a Wah Wah, the 95 Cube by Dunlop. It's awesome for jamming around. Now another really cool thing that's great for jamming around is the SY200. So I have this line selector right here, and what that's doing is it's always passing through one signal to the DAW, but when I turn it on, It sends another signal into the SY200, which has its own channel inside of Ableton. Really good. The SY200 works with so many different sounds, like gain sounds. I really like it. SY200 is great. Also the SY1 is a fantastic pedal. So that's some of the sort of synth blends and octaver stuff. But as we move over to the right hand side, this Live Logic, that's where I have like my special effects, glitch effects, pitch downs. And just depending on what you do with your note, like a squealy or a riff or whatever, it kind of, the number 2 here, it behaves in a slightly different way. It's really, really fun. The third effect I have is a swamp effect, which basically just lowers the level and just pushes more reverb. So a lot of the time when I'm jamming around with like McRocklin's Hutch stuff or on a live stream, sometimes it's really good to have your guitar up front, and then sometimes it's nice to just kind of push it to the back of the mix a little bit. And this is where just having that momentary reverb is really useful, and you can lift it off. And we're back to our normal reverb state, so that's really cool. The next thing is a sort of delay repeat. And that just gets more and more distorted and mangled the longer you hold it down. So that's really fun. The next thing I have is like a lo-fi chorus effect. So with this one, you hit it again and it's back out. So it's just good to like take some of the bottom end and the top end out of a track, and then when you release it, it comes back in with full power. It's kind of a fun thing, but these are effects that I keep tweaking and changing and messing around with. And then the sixth and final one. So we have a monster kill sample right there. The other thing is right here, this Dunlop expression pedal. That does a complete filter sweep, but that's kind of cool because that's on the final output. So we put the beat on. Now this one, that expression pedal turns on loop eraser. So basically as I go back and forwards between 0 and 100, it brings in elements of the loop eraser. And then I have this little button, little but big sound. That's pretty cool. For example, if you want to have like a really dry clean, and then you just hold this down. And you can lift it. So that's doing a whole bunch of things. D'Addario tuner, which is really nice. It's nice and slim, it's very accurate. I really, really like it. So that's a physical board, but let me show you some of the software side of things so you know how this is happening. So first of all, I'm using Ableton Live, that's the DAW that I'm using. And right here, you'll see this huge rack is basically where all my guitar related channels are. There's some which are for Shred Club, which is returning soon. So for example, I have bass and acoustic inputs and a looper for that. But right now, what you've heard today is coming from this guitar rack and the SY200. So on the guitar rack, for example, you can see right here, inside of Ableton, we're using these virtual racks with a lot of macros. So for example, if we go to, let's say, Nameless, and I hit number 3 on the pedal board, you get to see how that is made up. So for example, we have the Nameless amp itself, and then I have Audiority's free Dr. Drive precision drive, and it sounds really good and it's free, so yeah, I highly recommend grabbing that guy. I've color coded them to be different colors, so if I scroll along here, we've got the Nameless, and then Dr. Drive is right here. So by changing this state here of this macro, it turns on and off the Dr. Drive, so this is without it. And that is with it. So the idea is, you see all these complete chains down here on the left hand side. All of these chains are basically being triggered by one of the live logics. I don't think this is the most efficient way of doing this. I think I'll probably end up rebuilding this entire rig based around either 1 or 2 of these. When I did things like feedback on the Rabia plugin, if I go to the Rabia plugin chain right down at the bottom here, I have a plugin in front of that by Blue Cat Audio, and it's a plugin called AccuFine, and it's a great feedback generator plugin. So I have that on one of the states of the Rabia plugin, and this is a great plugin. I like this one a lot. It's got a really, really nice gain, and I'm using the Hyper Lead. Most of the presets that I'm using in the products today you can get on my store. In addition to all these individual things, I have things like overall glitch channels. So for example, this here, you'll see this auto panner kicking on and off as I momentarily do that. And it's an auto panner that's kind of off-centered slightly, so it kind of gives that real wide glitchy effect. And then I have the beat repeat for the secondary effect. And it's like doubled and sort of has this weird effect on it right here. And these are things that I kind of change and stuff like that. A reverb channel. Again, that's momentary. So all of these effects are basically dumped right on top of all of the guitar effects. And then some of the other effects are across the master output. So some effects make the most sense to have just on the guitars, whilst other effects might be across the full complete mix. And that gives you a nice option for when you're improvising and having fun using all these effects. The built-in cable management is great. You know, the previous pedal board was just Oh, it was disgusting, really. It was the only way to describe it. It was a complete hack job. It just wasn't visually appealing, you know, sitting here and looking down. Now when I see this board, it's so much more tidy. So even like a noob pedal board builder like me, you get a pedal board that makes you happy. You know, makes me smile now that it's like all nice and neat and clean. So there we go. That's the latest pedal board updates from me. If you've got a question about anything that you've seen today, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next video. Cheers for watching. Cheers. Bye.